I found my location on his phone, a red dot tracking my every move. But that wasn't the scariest part. There was another name on the map. This nightmare was just the beginning, and this is my love story. I told you I would pick up. My name is Roxy. I was 38 years old. I lived alone in a small town in Connecticut. My life was quiet, real quiet. I edited books for a living. I went to work, came home, ate alone, read until I fell asleep. That was it. Every single day. 2 years before this story starts, I lost both my parents. First my dad, then my mom. Back to back, just like that. I had no siblings, no cousins, no family nearby. Just me and the silence. I didn't realize how deep that loneliness went, not until someone came along and offered to fill it. It was a Saturday afternoon. I was at a local art gallery, just me and the paintings. That's when I noticed him. Tall, sharp suit, dark hair, calm energy. He was standing right next to me, looking at the same canvas. He said something about the painting. I turned around. He smiled. And y'all, it was the kind of smile that felt real. Not that fake, I'm trying to impress you smile. A real one. His name was Carter. He was an architect. Smart, gentle, soft-spoken. He asked me for coffee, and I said yes before I could even think about it. At the cafe, he just watched me. Not in a creepy way, in a I actually see you kind of way. I ordered Earl Grey, with lemon, no milk. Later, he asked if I wanted another cup, and already knew my order. I asked how he remembered. He said, I was paying attention. Y'all, I almost cried right there. Nobody had paid attention to me in years. We talked for hours. When I mentioned my parents, he reached out and touched my hand. He said, you don't have to be lonely anymore. I believed him. I really, truly believed him. The next few weeks were like a dream. He called every day. He took me to old bookstores just because I loved them. He showed up with roses. When my car broke down, he was there in 20 minutes. He drove me to work every single morning. He brought my tea every day, exactly how I liked it. He called me his only treasure. I had spent years being strong, independent, doing everything alone. And here was this man saying, let me take care of you. So I let go. I thought I had found a miracle. I didn't know yet that I had walked straight into a trap. 6 months in, he moved in. At first, it felt amazing. He cooked, he cleaned, he handled everything. But then things started to change. Slowly, real slow, like a frog in hot water. It started with one phone call. I forgot to text him when I got to work. He called me, voice shaking, saying he was so worried. I thought, okay, that's sweet. He cares. But then it became a rule. Text me when you leave. Text me when you arrive. Text me when you go to lunch. Text me when lunch is over. Then he went through my closet. Half my clothes were gone. He said they were too revealing. He said other men looking at me made him scared for my safety. He called it love. I called it weird, but I pushed that feeling down. He had been hurt before, he told me. He just didn't want to lose me. I convinced myself it was trauma, not control. I was wrong. My best friend Chloe saw everything. We had been friends for 15 years. One day she said, "Roxy, you look so tired. What is going on?" I smiled. Just work stress. But she didn't believe me. Honestly, I didn't believe myself either. When she hugged me goodbye that day, she held on longer than usual, like she was scared it might be the last time. Chloe had seen me sad before, but this was different. I wasn't just sad, I was getting smaller, like someone was slowly making me disappear. So she did what a true best friend does. She looked for answers on her own. She talked to people who knew Carter, old coworkers, a neighbor, someone he used to work with. She asked questions, she listened, she saved everything. 3 weeks later, she texted me, "Coffee, just us, please." I almost said no, but something felt urgent, so I went. Chloe came ready. She slid her phone across the table. "I need you to see this." It was a screenshot, then another, then another. Carter had done all of this before. There was a woman before me. Her name was Dana. By the end, Dana could not leave the house without his permission. She lost a lot of weight. She stopped talking to her family. Then one day, she was just gone. Nobody knew where she went. Chloe looked straight into my eyes. He didn't just hurt her, he erased her. My hands were shaking under the table. "He is doing the same thing to you," Chloe said, "right now." I wanted to defend him. I opened my mouth, but no words came out. Because deep inside, I already knew. Chloe held my hand. "You are not crazy. This is real." That evening, I went home and acted normal. I smiled, I cooked dinner, I laughed at his jokes. But inside, everything had changed. I was done surviving. I was now planning. Then came the night that changed everything. My phone died at work. Carter was in the shower. I picked up his phone. I opened the tracking app. I saw myself as a red dot on the map. But then I saw a blue dot. It said, "The poison." I clicked it. It was Chloe's location. He was tracking my best friend without her knowing. A cold feeling moved through my whole body. Carter walked out of the bathroom. He saw me holding his phone. He didn't say sorry. He didn't look ashamed. He said Chloe was trying to destroy us. Then he said the words I will never forget. "You belong to me." The mask came off. I did not see my boyfriend anymore. I saw someone who wanted to own me. That night, I locked myself in the bedroom, shaking, scared, but finally thinking clearly. Next morning, the second he left, I moved fast. Bag, documents, photos of my parents. I was almost at the door. Then I heard his car outside. He came back early. He blocked the door. He screamed that I was betraying him. He grabs my wrist very hard. I pushed a heavy bookshelf toward him. It crashed down. He fell back. I ran. My neighbor, Mrs. Chen, called the police. They came and took him away. They saw the bruises on my arm. But 2 days later, he was out of jail. I did not wait. That same night, I left. New city, new phone, new name. No way to find me online, nothing. I became invisible. 1 year later, small apartment, nobody knows my story. Every phone sound makes my heart jump. Every knock on the door scares me. Carter broke something inside me, but he also taught me something. The most dangerous walls are the ones built with fake kindness. If someone removes your friends, controls your food, watches your every move, and calls it love, that is not love. That is a cage with a nice name. I am still healing. I still look over my shoulder, but I am free. And freedom is always worth the fear. Thanks for listening to my story. If you liked it, hit that subscribe button, drop a comment, and tell me where you're listening from.